Hey everyone, I'm Matt Heines and I am running for Congress in Washington State's 1st District. It is now 7 days until the primary, and for the next few minutes I would like to do what I call an update in the last week before the primary election. Now, if you haven't yet, or if you would like to, please subscribe to my channel. I have a lot of great content. Unfortunately, I am censored by YouTube because of the content that I put out, because I'm a freedom-loving American, and that's one thing that they can't stand. So if you like this content and you want updates, then please subscribe. So let's start off with my campaign, and I want to talk for just a second about some of the advantages that I've been given, and then I'm going to talk about some of the disadvantages, and then I'm going to talk about the reaction that I'm getting from the public, because it's nothing, absolutely nothing like they're trying to make you believe from what you see on the television or the fake news networks. So the first thing is I've been handed a few blessings, and number one was Joe Biden. And the debate that he did with Donald Trump really showed people that Joe Biden was never running the country and that somebody else is. And we know that that is Barack Obama and Nancy Pelosi and a very wealthy elite like George Soros and Bill Gates. So the next great thing that happened to me was they kicked Biden out and they put Kamala Harris in. Now, Kamala Harris is absolutely, the public hates her, and they're trying to push her off as some kind of miracle worker like Mother Teresa. But the fact of the matter is the public hates her, and I'm out every day campaigning, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But from what I see, they just really cannot stand her, and I think people are very afraid, because this really shows that we do not live in a democracy anymore, or a republic if you're along those bents, but we are actually ruled by the wealthy elite. So I've been handed those two blessings. Number one, Biden, who was never running the country and who stole the election from Donald Trump, has now had the election, or his presidency and his re-election campaign, stolen from him, which is perfect justice. So the other thing, of course, is Kamala Harris. I mean, she is just a weird person, and she has nothing to run on. And so that leads me to very quickly talk about my opponent, and my opponent is Suzan Delbene, and she is the 7th richest person in Congress. And when I debated her a few weeks ago, actually it was the end of June, I called her out because I said, how do you go into Congress with like $20 million? And then when I started running in these campaigns a few years ago, she had 80 million, and now she has 145 million. And they said, you can't talk about her and you can't say these things because that's your opinion. But the fact of the matter is that those things have been documented, and the people in my district just hate. I mean, I have not heard anybody say, no, 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 go away, I'm voting for Suzan Delbene. Every one of them says the same thing. I hate her. She has to go. She hasn't done anything for this district. Well, she's embarrassed us. But so having her as an opponent is really kind of a blessing. Let's talk about some of the obstacles that I've had to face. Now, as you may or may not know, I'm a documentary producer, so I'm producing a documentary, the second I've done on my elections. The first one was called Rigged in a State of Hate. I originally called it Trumped in a State of Hate, but I changed it a few weeks ago because I thought that it was not fair to use Donald Trump's name and associate him with the word hate, because that's what the search engines are analog to put up to lump those things together. So I changed it to Rigged in a State of Hate, and in 2022 I documented the tearing down my signs, the horrible message, the fact that the Republican Party tried to sandbag my campaign and try to steal the nomination or the endorsement from me by basically out and out fraud. So in this campaign in 2024, it's pretty much, as far as the Republican Party in Washington State goes, I've done 4 videos already, and you can check those out, all called Rigged in a State of Hate, part 2, and then I just have a sneak preview. But the Republican Party of Washington State does not want anybody to run that will threaten the Democrats' power. So they called the police on me out in Everett when I went to ask about the endorsement. They rigged the caucuses so that I could not participate and even try to get an endorsement. And once again, as I say in these series of videos, they have put somebody and endorsed somebody that is not ever going to win an election and is probably not going to do very well in the primary. So those are the things that are against me. But now I would just want to, and really those are insignificant because the Republican Party is insignificant in Washington State, and that's why Donald Trump doesn't even waste time out here, or any serious Republicans nationally do not waste time with Washington State, because it's not important, and because for the last, since 2001, we have had just one after the other, basically slaughters of elections. It could be because these elections in King County and the big counties of Washington State are so rigged at the King County Elections Board, and I went down there this year, and I'm going to do a video about that. But the Republican Party in Washington State is such a disaster that whatever they try to do to rig the election for the Democrats, well, it's probably not going to be effective this time, and here's why. So I'm out in my truck of freedom. I've been out since basically I did the 4th of July parades in Arlington and in very liberal Kirkland, Washington. And these people were just going crazy when they saw me and they saw the truck of freedom going by and the American flags flying and this real interesting candidate that they all seem to like. So in 2 towns in Washington, Kirkland, which is a very big city, and thousands of people were watching, and it was televised, I got a huge response. And the same thing in Arlington, smaller farming community, but once again a very major response. So I'm going around, and I have been going around for pretty much ever since then. I have my banners on my truck, and I have it decked out with my campaign sign on the front, and I have the American flags, and I'm getting so much response of people stopping and waving and really showing support. So I just want to say that yesterday, the day before, the 1 week before the election day, I went out in the rain and I went up to the city of Bothell, and I just stood there in their major intersection and put my banners up and my signs up, and I just held the American flag and I waved it, the people going by, and overwhelmingly I am getting so much support. There's, I got 1 or 2 middle fingers of like old people going by, and then some guy drove by and said, stop acting weird. And I thought, what's weird about what I'm doing, campaigning, and showing the American flag? But then I saw in the media that that's their new tag word, is that now Republicans are somehow weird. Before it was deplorable, but I guess it's weird to be an active participant in our election system and in our democracy, or republic, if that's your specialty. So, but otherwise, I want to tell you that I'm getting a lot of support from Hispanic Americans, African Americans, women, especially young women, young men in their 20s, and people in the working class. And the only, and I don't want to generalize, but the only real resistance I get is I had some old lady drive by, a very old lady, and give me her middle finger. I thought, wow, how sad for you. But that's pretty much it. I'm just getting a resounding support and honking and waving, and people are smiling and so happy to see me and the American flag. So that brings me to another point of my campaign that is different this time, is that in my last campaign, my truck of freedom needed a new transmission, so it was in the shop, and I didn't have, you know, the access to have a truck with your banner driving all over the district and showing people the flag and showing people my banner. But I have that now. And in my previous campaigns, I have really relied on the internet, as you know, for exposure, just for your bang for your buck kind of thing. But I learned out very quickly that the you know, Google is going to, you know, they're going to just trounce you. They will never share your videos. You will never get any views, and if you do get views and subscribers, they take them away. So this next week, this will be one of my last videos until the primary, because most of the time I will be out in the Truck of Freedom. I will be going from Arlington to Marysville to, I'll be out in Lake Stevens today, and I'm just going to hit the working class people that are coming home from work, and they are very upset and they are very scared. And I just hope that I can win this election, and I can bring some hope to these people, and I can bring some help as far as getting their gas prices reduced, supporting Donald Trump in whatever it is that he needs to do to get our economy going again. And then we're going to address the social issues that we're having such a problem with, like immigration and our horrible public schools that are so filled with hate and racism and no education for these kids. So that's the state of the campaign. It is July, I don't even know it, I think it's July 29th or 30th, but it's 7 days exactly until the primary. And that is the state of the Matthew Heines for United States Congress campaign. So thank you for listening. And if you are in the 1st District, I hope you'll support me. I hope you'll remember to vote. Vote for me if that's your thing. And if you're not in the 1st District, but you know somebody that lives around the Seattle area, like in Kirkland or Redmond or any of the 1st District towns or cities, please call them and let them know that you would really like to see somebody like me in Congress, somebody with an education, somebody with real experience both overseas and in America, a business owner, and somebody who really loves and is grateful to be from the country that I'm in, because I grew up very poor and I wouldn't have any of the advantages that I had if I lived in another country. I only was able to do what I've been able to do and run for Congress now because I live in the United States of America. And I want to make these opportunities available to everybody and not have them discriminated against because of their skin color or because of the fact that they grew up poor. So that's what I'm shooting for, and that's what I hope that you will be motivated to vote for me, or try to find somebody to vote for me that you might know out in this area. Now, don't think that Washington State is going to be blue in this, especially the 1st District, because from what I see, it's at least 50% of people are avidly supporting me wearing this hat and saying we need, waving our American flag and saying we need to get rid of these lunatics and we need to make America great again. So God bless you, God keep you, and hopefully we'll see you after the primary, where I will be doing updates on my election and what will be happening when we go into the general. All right, so thanks a lot. You have a good day, and talk to you soon.
My name is Matthew Heines. I'm a veteran. I'm a veteran of the 82nd Airborne. I took the oath, and I'm here to defend my state.
Congressman Suzan Delbene has been in office since 2012. Using her substantial financial resources, thanks to Microsoft, and her $84 million fortune, she has been able to continually maintain an office where people still have little idea what she's done. Well, she's learned to dance around, and she's learned to do all the political maneuvers you have to do to keep getting reelected. Well, Suzan Delbene, it's time for you to go.
My name is Matthew Heines.